just Tina Cadell.
Sorry. Right, item 2, to note declaration of members' personal, prejudicial and disclosable pecuniary interests in respect of items on the agenda. Are there any at all? No? Right, we'll move on to item 3, the minutes. To confirm the minutes of the meeting held on the 28th of the 1st, 25 are a true and accurate record. Is everybody happy that they're right? Agreed. Item 3.2, to receive an update on items from the previous meeting, if not agenda items for this meeting.
Okay, I mean, and in the pack, I put a little bit about the car parks, and we have had communication with Burkitt's. One lady got back to me and said she didn't feel comfortable acting for the town council, as she'd previously acted for Breckland. She was going to put us in touch with somebody else. I'm still waiting to hear. But since then, we've had the further updates about the car park and the heads of terms and the message from Breckland that I sent out earlier. Staffing, we met with the consultant who will undertake the staffing sort of restructuring, and that was Catherine, and Stan met with him on the 7th. And the other thing was the planning application for the gas house. That's gone, request to go to the Breckland Planning Committee. Okay.
Lovely, thank you very much. Yes.
Concerning Burkitt's declaring a conflict of interest, I take it that we are not going to have to pay any fees so far.
We had an initial sort of talk to them to say, are they going to act, or will they act for us? So I'm waiting to hear, but it may be that we do need to look elsewhere. If that's something I think for council to consider. Well, yeah.
Keith.
Thank you. On the issue of the development by the gas works house, that if you look on there, it does say status of chairman's panel. So that should be coming up to chairman's panel, where they will decide whether to have it delegated or go to committee. And I will be speaking and asking it to go to committee.
Thank you.
And also, if I can say, on the car park issue, which this all came out of the blue, I personally think we should continue with our action to take over the car parks, because although everything is up in the air at the moment, it's obvious that we will be going together with other district councils, or part of, however it works, and they all charge for car parking. So I think we still need to crack ahead and make sure we can secure the car parking under our control, so that we can continue to have it free of use.
That's a good point, Keith. Although we've just got these papers tonight and this stuff's been sent round by Ralph, it's not an agenda item for tonight, so I think we'll just have to put on another agenda and then discuss it fully at that point. So. Right, to item 4, to receive reports, chairman's report. I've only got one thing to say. I attended the Air Cadets formation dinner at Broome Hall on the 8th of February 2025. Vice Chairman's report.
On the 29th of January, I attended the snack panel teams meeting. Very briefly, report from the meeting, because Jane's got all the minutes. The process was explained again. Meetings are open to the public quarterly. Priorities won't be voted on at local meetings. The teams meeting 2 weeks after, we'll get the report from those. Issues and concerns from all SNAP meetings, along with police information, will be collated along with partner agencies. There will be a minimum of 1 and a maximum of 3 priorities agreed. At this meeting, 2 priorities were agreed for Breckland District. The first being antisocial behaviour, including youth and vehicle ASB. The second being rural crime, including acquisitive crime. End of report.
Thank you. Any questions at all? Right. In that case, we move on to the clerk's report, including from the Watton and Sam Flood Action Group.
Okay, what I sent out in your report, I'll just run through that. The first one, which went in the agenda pack, Love Watton have contacted us again, and we have got back to them at the moment just to tell them about the days planned at the Charlotte Harvey Trust. So I think if they do make contact, that's perhaps a good avenue that they can get involved with. Wayland Academy have asked for some support, or the head of year 11 has, for their sort of prom. So I don't know if we want that on the agenda, perhaps for next time. The report from Watton and Sam Flood Action Group, which has gone to Sam Tony Parish Council. Today I got a message from the chairman of Sam Tony Parish Council. So how we wish to proceed with that one, whether we in the office get in touch and have a clerks talk and see how we can support the group, or whether that needs to come back to the agenda item. Again, that's over to you. I think that's probably all in the agenda pack. Since then, I've sent out the update earlier on, and I've given you a copy, which is on your tables. One is about the cemetery, and there's one or two things there perhaps to pick up on. Again, perhaps another time because it isn't on the agenda. Bridle Road, works are going ahead there quite well. Interestingly, I also received an email regarding Church Walk today, so we'll perhaps respond to that. I'm not sure it's anything that needs to go on the agenda, other than it is asking if we'd like to keep up the maintenance of Church Walk. So I'm not really sure where that one's going, but that's something else I haven't picked up on anymore because it only came in today. The clock tower report, we're waiting for Lauren to sort of come up with her final report, perhaps at the next meeting. But interestingly, the guys from Power UK came and had a look today regarding the electrical connection, and we are possibly looking at what we can do and whether we can get an MPAN number and then an electricity meter fitted, because at the moment it's unauthorised abstraction. So we have got to sort it. And the other thing is the car parking, but as Don said, that's perhaps for the next agenda.
Peter.
With regards to the Flood Action Group, could I suggest that the clerk talks to the clerk at SAM about how that could be best taken forward, and then bring back a recommendation to us at the next meeting?
Everybody happy with that? Any other points anybody wants to pick up on the clerk's report? No? Right. Right. Reports from lead councillors. Graham.
Yeah, I've got three things I'd like to bring up. Church Walk. I don't know if everyone's been down there, but we're starting to get some colour at last. They're looking quite nice. There was a mention of Memorial Gardens about fruit trees, I believe so. Yeah. Memorial Gardens up there, where we had the bench put in. Was consideration of putting a few fruit trees in there?
Jubilee.
Thing is the actual bench itself. Okay, we can't do anything about it now, but A, it is in the wrong place, and B, it's not set back far enough. The other day, there was a lady sitting there with a buggy, and the buggy was actually on the path. So I don't know what you want to do about it, but I think it needs to be set back a little bit more, but that's up to you lot.
personally, I've had lots of well done about the bench in the right place, and I've seen people sitting on it nearly every time I've come into Watton with not obstructing the pathway. So. Yeah. Right.
Thing I'd like to mention is where the bench is there any way we can have a trash can, like a litter bin or some description there? Because the first day I went in, I took some photos and they got beer bottles and cans underneath it.
I think it's something we need to look at, and I think we need some sort of policy on where we are going to put in any more bins. I mean, we have to get permission both from Highways and Serco to see if they can be emptied anyway. So it's not just a question of putting a bin in, and they are reluctant to have any more in, or that's the message we get. Again, we have to pay for the bin, buy it and get it put in. So it's something I think we need to come up with at finance, how many bins we do put in each year, or do we put any more in, and if so, how do we decide where?
Yeah. Yes. Right. Any other reports from lead councillors? Catherine.
I'm not quite sure where this fits in, but I approached my residents with a regular and complained about the space not uninteresting around the maintenance and pathways and signage. And we asked them to come out to
Norfolk Wildlife. No. Is everybody in agreement that we write on behalf of the council to? Yeah. Okay. Thomas.
Can I suggest one of us take a walk down so we know exactly what we want to complain about before we do? I'm happy to volunteer.
Right. Right. On that basis, we'll get Thomas to do it, and then we'll.
On that note, there are some people who want to go and walk around Wayland Wood. They would like a nice grass path to walk on, nice and level, no dips. It's a wood. I've been around it umpteen times, on walks and everything. And the thing that makes it what it is the fact that in places it's muddy. And it's great to go through the mud when you're setting trails. Yeah, but if it's a wood, it's not somewhere where you've got a nice, easy path to walk along,
But if we've got a volunteer to go around and check it out, so then we'll do it on that basis. Sue, are you volunteering as well then? No, right.
It's too far. I walk around the Heritage Park a bit.
Oh, right,
So as Heritage lead on that, a post was put up about the metal detecting, but it was just a laminated A4 sheet of paper stuck on a bit of hardboard on what I could only relate to as a broom pole, and it lasted a day. It's gone. I don't know where it's gone. I haven't seen it anywhere, but it's been pulled out. But it looked cheap and tacky. I didn't even realise it was a proper thing from us.
Stan.
Yeah, and as Sue's rightly pointed out, Chair, it didn't look great. It looked like a lost cat poster. I understood that we were going to get something about A4 or bigger that was metal with a proper laminated front to it, not like this laminate, but a metal or alley sign on a decent post or affixed to a tree with metal strapping.
So Peter.
Yeah, but can I propose then that I think, I'm not sure one is enough, but that we have at least a minimum of 2 professionally made signs that would be permanent and couldn't be ripped down or torn off to be put up on that site.
Okay. Right, have you got that, Jane? Yeah, so everybody in agreement that we get the signs made? Right. Right, if there's nothing more on that, we'll lead on to report from the Police Neighbourhood Priority Panel meeting, which I think we've already done, haven't we? Public participation, we have nobody from the public. We'll move on to the clock tower to receive an update. Jane did mention it briefly.
I mentioned sort of a bit about what would the electric, but we've also got the question of the continual report that we had updated. The recommendation for that is to get a structural engineer to take a look at the cracks in the walls. So we have approached the guy we used for this building. He hasn't got back to me yet, and possibly the builders Atos who've done work in the clock tower before to do whatever works mainly doing. We'll ask them for a price. So that's where we are with that at the moment.
Peter.
I have to say, I can't remember which part of the report it was, but I was absolutely appalled to see, having been fleeced left, right and centre by a certain company in Derby, they now want to charge us nearly £2,000 to fix the pendulum. Well, my attitude to that is no. I think we need to say we've done enough with that clock, and it has to stay at 2:45 or 12:15 or whatever it is forever, so be it. But I don't think we're in a position to make that decision on whether we should do nothing here. But I'd like to see an agenda item on what we're going to do about the clock at the next meeting, because I really don't think we can carry on like this and throw money away left, right and centre.
We'd said at the next meeting we'd have the report from the events officer. So yeah.
From Lauren, yeah. Keith.
Thank you, Chairman. When we had the problem before, when the ropes came off the pulleys, I was actually around and I went up and had a look. And I went in again today to have a look at why these ropes are coming off the pulleys. And I'm not sure that the way the pulleys at the wheels at the top are working properly. Because when you look at the clock, the ropes do not go up to the pulley direct. The pulley is there and the ropes go in at an angle. Now, unless those pulleys at the top, or those wheels at the top, are aligned to the direction of the rope, they are going to come off. And maybe it is a case of it hasn't been wound quite right, but who has told anybody how it should be wound? Because if something's there and something's coming in at an angle, it's not going to work. So they seem to be a bit loose, the wheels at the top. But that is, to me, one of the problems, that the whole thing is not being aligned properly. And if it's not aligned properly, it ain't going to work. So I think that for somebody to say, we're going to charge you £2,000 to come and lift a weight, when they are the people who put the bloody weights in the first place, I am not enthused with the way that Derby's have handled this.
Catherine.
Could we ask that in the report we have details of how much we've spent over the last, what should we say, 3 years on the clock itself? I believe also that they aren't the original weights that are on the clock now, and the original may be in the museum, but you'd need to check that with Chris. So could that be checked?
Yes, I will check, but I believe it is now the original weights that have been put on, and that they weren't the original weights. The weights have been changed, I believe.
Well, if it's an agenda item, we can discuss it fully at the next meeting, can't we, with all? Stan?
Chair, thinking back, could I ask that that's changed from 3 years to 4 years? Because I recollect significant spends.
Okay, if there's nothing else on the clock tower, we'll move on to the allotments and to receive an update, which again, Jane briefly mentioned. Yeah. Peter, yeah.
Propose, she's supposed to be the legal expert, that we go with proposition 2.
Right, is
I'll
there
move
a
for
seconder for that?
Great.
Right, everybody in favour? We're going for option 2?
Yeah.
Right, excellent. Right, item 9, Sports Centre. Has everybody had the correspondence for that? Yeah, so we've had correspondence from the Sports Centre about having a meeting. They aren't coming begging for money, that's all I will say.
They aren't?
They aren't coming
Oh,
begging
well.
for money. So,
Yet, until they get here.
but they want to come and make a
Fair enough.
presentation at the next meeting.
Yeah. Is that before the meeting or during the meeting? Well, I'm just aware of what we're adding to an agenda for the next meeting.
Yeah, so what, 6:30?
Yeah.
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 Keith?
Yeah, has everybody seen the document that was sent? Right, I have. There's a Bracknell councillor. It is good news.
Yeah.
I won't say any more. But I think this first meeting just needs to be fulfilled to tell us what it's about. But following on from that, we need a full meeting with other parties involved to discuss the matter further. But yeah, I have seen the document. I thought it had been sent to all members, but anyway, it all seems to be good news as far as
Don't
I
spoil
can
the
see.
surprise.
Yeah.
Bated breath now.
Right, if there's nothing else on that, we'll go on to planning. There's nothing? Right, and then, so we'll move on to item 11, to pass a resolution to exclude the press, the public, to consider confidential matters. Is there anything on that, Stan? Nothing?